YouTube, Awesome Writer here. Welcome to my review for King-Ohger episode 13. So this episode was our continuing story of the introduction of the Jeremy character, Spider Kumonos, and our official debut of his mecha in its default form. I didn't like this episode overall as much as last week's. I did really like the second half, or the last bits of the episode in regards to what it does for his character and setting him up going forward for now. But like the episode overall was alright. A lot of it was kind of some more silly stuff that just really isn't my jam, you know, a bit of like, you know, over-the-top delivery and stuff. There was a couple funny moments, but for the most part, that aspect is most certainly not my thing. But there was some interesting stuff within that. Like, primarily story-wise, you had Jeremy giving one of the shoe gods to each faction, essentially, which is him. He gave one of them to Yellow, and then the other to the villains, which he does at the top of the episode, and they're trying to figure out his motivations for that. Of course, his motivations being, well, actually, I don't remember who it was, but there was somebody that said, like, I don't understand your motivations, but, like, last week, I feel like he pretty clearly stated that he wanted the factions to work together, so I feel like using just basic intelligence, you could probably figure out that was probably his motivation. But regardless, there's a lot about that. Another significant plot is around Yanma wanting to figure out like his technology and like how he got it and how it works, because he didn't make it and it didn't come from them. And he initially refuses, but then after he hears the story from Blue's assistant guy, who was like the most annoying character in the episode for me, but he was telling him about Yanma's backstory, which basically gave us an expanded look and flashbacks at his backstory that we got in his debut episode, which was one of the nicer scenes of the episode in the first half that I wasn't so into. But that was kind of a nice scene, nice little expansion on Yanma's character. And after he hears that and gets a little bit of perspective on him, he gives him his little spray paint blaster and says, like, this is important to me, but, you know, I'm trusting you to respect it and for taking a look at it. But then later, he basically disrespects it and it gets tossed aside when he's trying to play this prank or whatever, or this trick on, prank, well, you know what I mean, on Rackley's. That was one of the only two funny parts I found in the episode. Was the first one was Gira pretending to be the butler guy. That had some funny moments. And then this one where they tried to play this trick on him using this fake version of this thing given by Black Ranger's Kingdom. And then, like, when it blows up in their face, Yanma tries to pass it off like that was a Bugnarok that did it, because a Bugnarok happens to show up right after that, which was funny conceptually. The over-delivery I did not like, but, like, the concept was funny. I thought that was funny. But basically, Jeremy then gets pissed that was disrespected after he told him how important it was because it was a gift from his mother. He goes off on everyone, starts fighting everyone, all the Rangers. You know, this is the first time in a while, I guess not so much, but that we've seen like a main Ranger fight the other Rangers in this way. Just because like we usually outsource that to stuff like Stacy or the other guy from Don Brothers didn't do anything, the shark guy. Why am I forgetting his name? Don Murasame, there we go. But it set him up as more of an antagonist in this episode, as he's very pissed about what happened. Almost feeling a lot more like Aubrey Killer going up against the Rangers. And he takes all their changers, and he like strings up all three shoe gods, which is a really cool shot, and sort of establishes himself on his own, you know, that he wants to be the ruler of the in-between, like he says to the Bugnarok, who he actually saves at the end from destruction. And like I said, we debut his mecha. We don't get the full-on, like, you know, robot form and all that stuff, but we get a glimpse of the Tarantula form, which actually looks really great. It's probably my favorite individual Zord, like, on its own. I think it's got a really good design. The color contrast is unique. I think, like, the face has a lot of personality and unique design to it. I really liked it a lot. And also what I liked is something they've been doing in the series every now and then, too, is having non-traditional mecha fights where we don't necessarily have to go into the big mecha. We'll use the individual ones and do a cool fight that's interesting to watch. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was a good debut for the mecha, and also, again, something I appreciate is that they showed restraint. I feel like in a lot of other series, we would have debuted this, transformed into the Megazord, and showed off the auxiliaries. Of course, the auxiliaries show up, and we know about it, obviously. It's not like it's a spoiler, because the toys are out on pre-order and all that stuff, the magazines, all that jazz. But it's nice just narratively to show a little bit restraint. I feel it gives this really natural flow to things when you sort of roll the debut of things out. And so we didn't actually do the Megazord, but just the Zord. And I really liked that. Not to mention, as I just said, I like that it gave us a unique fight rather than just your typical Megazord fight. And it gave us an interesting place for the character to end on. And that was the best part of the episode was, I mean, the fight scene was great. The fight scenes in the series are always great. But him using the strings to take their changers and to take the shoe gods was so just visually interesting to see. But again, I really am enjoying his character, and I'm enjoying his unique perspective. And like, yet again, even though obviously the Bugnaroks are very involved in this because he's part Bugnarok and wants them to work together, it's so funny to me that I'm so much more interested in the characters' interactions and conflicts than I am, like, the villains. Like, again, obviously the Bugnaroks come into play here, but, you know, it was interesting before seeing how all the kingdoms interplayed and all of the Rackleys of it all, and then now we have this character, like he says, kind of existing in the in-between. representing this new interesting X element. And I think that's really interesting and really engaging, and I'm happy that I'm still enjoying his character so far. I like where they set him up in this. You know, I like that it wasn't instantly like, oh, kumbaya or anything like that. I'm sure that the situation will evolve. Like, in a way, I can't imagine it staying the exact same. I think the status quo will evolve a couple times, but yeah, overall, like I said, for the big picture, I didn't enjoy the episode as much. Again, I'm still not sure I'm doing scores. I guess I would give this one a 3 out of 5 if I was doing scores, just because I really liked the second half and what it did for Kumonos, but I wasn't into the first half as much, kind of more of the stuff that annoys me about the series, though there were some good parts in it. But what did you guys think of the episode and our first debut of Spider Kumonos' mech? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps, ring that bell, so you get notifications for all my videos. Awesome Rider, signing out.